Deportiva y con swing.
Deportiva y con swing.
La factoría del deporte desde New York para ti. Es una máquina.
Es una máquina
Pensada para ti.
pensada para ti. Número uno en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Con informaciones importantes siempre frescas.
Y con entrevistas que te ponen de cabeza.
Lo mejor del deporte lo encontrarás aquí.
Búscale en las redes, dale like y compartir.
Suscríbete,
Ay sí,
infórmate.
ok. Dale a la campana para que te llegue.
Dill, why don't you kick things off, and we'll just round robin it.
Awesome, thanks, Seth. Hey, Chase, good to see you again. It's Joe, MLB.com. Okay, cool. Just start off. What's your off season look like? Where were you? What was the programming like? You're working with anybody?
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Yeah, for sure. What's your off season look like? Where'd you work out? Anyone you like to work out with? What's your programming look like?
So I actually I went back home during the off season. I went back home to Summers Point. I trained in Pleasantville at Baseball Performance Center with Mike Adams. I was there from October to around the middle of January until I reported here. And we kind of just got after things over there. Kind of worked on things with mechanics and kind of perfecting the arsenal and kind of just getting better overall. So that's kind of what the off season consisted of.
Hey, Chase, I'm Betsy with the Pioneer Press. I know at least I haven't talked to you since you were drafted. Can you tell us a little bit about what kind of your first taste of professional ball was like last year, and just you didn't throw that many innings in games, but kind of what that was like?
It was new. It was new for sure. It was a lot better competition, obviously, coming from high school baseball, especially from New Jersey baseball. So it was definitely a big difference. But it was fun. I really enjoyed it. I mean, all the guys here are very supportive of you. I mean, you guys all have the same goals and the same aspirations. So it's kind of just getting to know one another and really just kind of feeding off each other and just getting better every day with each other.
Hey, Chase, Dan Hayes from The Athletic. What did you kind of maybe lesson-wise take from them? What you wanted to go home after that first experience and work on specifically over the winter?
Really just being a professional baseball player, really just cleaning up everything when it comes to kind of just off the field and on the field, really just clean up the act, and kind of just having the mindset of a big leaguer, because that's that's the goal. That's the dream, to be in the big leagues and exceed at that even there. So really just this off season, it was really kind of just developing that mindset that, hey, this is going to be a grind and you really have to prepare yourself for it. And I'm ready for it. So.
Hi, Chase. This is Megan Ryan from the Minneapolis Star Tribune. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. I was actually just curious. I know you don't have like a ton to compare it to, but just like, obviously we're in a lockout right now and it's supposed to be like spring training going full tilt at this point. Just what has it been like down in Fort Myers to kind of like, be the minor league guys, but kind of knowing that this is not really a normal situation?
I mean, we're still kind of taking it as if it's still the normal situation. We're still going about our days, still playing as if everything's still the same. And we're really just all still getting after it each and every day, just still getting better. And that's really just still the goal.
Hey, Chase, Aaron from The Athletic. In terms of like more mechanical stuff that they've been working on you with, arm angle, I don't know, approach, anything, is there stuff that basically since you were drafted, the Twins have kind of tried to change with you or tweak with you?
I wouldn't say necessarily that there's a lot of things that they're changing or anything with me. It's really just cleaning up things that need to be cleaned up, whether that is the arm path, whether that is the arm angle, and kind of just making sure that things are where they need to be to prevent injuries and kind of just stay as healthy as possible.
Hey, Chase, Seth Stowe from Twins Daily. Obviously, at the draft, you and Joe Mack had a well-documented bromance in upstate New York. And did you guys spend any time in the offseason together? And kind of following up, is it kind of nice to have met Charlie Mack at the draft, even if it was a short period of time, just so you kind of know somebody going into this?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, me and Joe didn't really get to spend any time together in the off season, but we tried for sure. But it was kind of just it was short, and we both kind of it was our first off season, so we really just wanted to get after it. And kind of taking days trips would kind of take days off from that. So it was kind of just we kind of just did our own things during this off season. But getting to know Charlie, that was a really good thing for me, especially at the draft. Kind of getting to know someone coming into Fort Myers. It was a really good thing because now me and Charlie are almost as close as me and Joe. So it's a really good thing for sure.
Any other players in this organization that you've been able to get tight with in the year you've been around?
Oh, for sure. There's been a few guys, but the main guys are definitely Charlie, Marco Raya, Reggie Grace, and LaRon Smith. Those have been like my kind of guys that I've been around a lot and have really gotten close with.
What was the experience like of just going from high school straight into pro ball and living at the dorms, just from a life experience standpoint?
It was new for sure. I mean, I've never really like shared like a room with someone, I guess. Well, not for a long time at least. So it was new, and especially with another grown man as well. So, but I mean, getting to know, like going through that and kind of getting to know my roommate Marco, we're like best friends now. So I mean, I couldn't be happier with that. But it's been new, it's been fun, and it's all a transition. It's all something that you kind of have to get used to. And I mean, I'm kind of making the most of it, and I'm just having fun with it.
What do you and Marco talk about? Is it mostly pitching, life? What goes on?
I mean, it's just, yeah. I mean, a lot of it is pitching. Honestly, we want to make each other as our best versions of each other. We really push each other a lot more than anyone else pushes one another. I would say for sure. But that's someone that I definitely want to be around for a while because he's someone that I can learn from and he can learn from me as well. So, yeah.
What kind of things have you learned from him?
He's a really good pitcher. So last year he went through an injury with his shoulder, and he came back from rehab plus velo, like from what he was sitting 91 to 93, and he came back from that being 94 to 97, topping 99. So I mean, kind of really getting to understand kind of what he went through in that year, and how he kind of told me how he dedicated himself to really hammering his arm care and really just strengthening like his shoulder, everything around his shoulder, and seeing it pay off is really an eye-opening thing for sure.
I guess since you brought up his velo, like there was so much talk at the time of the draft that you threw, 101, 102, all that.
Yeah.
In terms of like actually when you're on a starter schedule and you're in game and all that stuff, what do you think the velo that you're comfortable kind of working with normally would be?
I mean, we'll see when the time comes around. I mean, the velo when I was in high school, when I was starting, was around 90, 94, 97, topping 99. So, I mean, around there would obviously still be ideal. But, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really all about getting outs and performing. So, doing what I have to do, whether that's velo off and kind of dominating with my secondary pitches. And that's what I'll have to do, just really just becoming an all-around better pitcher. So.
Hey, the Mike Adams you're talking about, it's the guy that's currently with the Phillies, not the former Major League Phillies pitcher, right?
Yes, he is currently with the Phillies. He's in AAA. Yes.
I just looked at his bio. He went to college and then he had like a 4-year gap and just got picked up.
Yes.
Did you know him? Like, how long have you known him for? And just, that's pretty cool to be around someone that had that kind of gap, I guess.
Yeah, so I've known Mike for around 4 to 5 years now. I started working with him when I was a freshman in high school. So his story is really unique. He's been someone who went to college as a position player, turned into a pitcher, didn't go drafted, started up his facility that he has now. Kind of taught himself, almost used himself as a guinea pig and taught himself to throw 100. So, I mean, and then he ended up signing a free agent contract deal with the Phillies. So.
What has been something you've learned from him, just being around him?
He's taught me almost everything I know. I mean, honestly, he's kind of worked with me from the ground up. He's taught me my mechanics from when they were the worst they were. So, I mean, he's really been someone that I've been with and someone that I really look up to when it comes to baseball side.
Chase, after the draft, you talked about, having 3 or 4 pitches and working on a 5th. And have you kind of worked with the technology involved, the analytics involved, to either cut that number down or, I guess, learn a little bit more about who you are and how you want to proceed going forward?
Yeah, we've worked a lot with analytics here, and we've done a lot with really perfecting our crafts, and really just perfecting things that play the most. And so we really just perfected the sinker, the changeup, and the slider for right now. And once those 3 are where they need to be, and then we'll start working on the 4th, and then hopefully they're on, and we'll keep going. But yeah, right now it's really just perfecting what we need to perfect right now to get to where we need to be long term.
And did you work out with Sean Mooney again this off season at all?
Yes, I did. Yeah, I was with him quite a bit.
Okay. Did you have any Mike Trout encounters or dinners or anything throughout the season? I know you mentioned texting him a bit, but
yeah, no, we didn't get any a chance to do anything this off season at all.
Hey, Chase. We were talking to Alex Hassan a few days ago, and he said that you had really impressed them with your ability to be routine oriented. What was kind of the development of that? Was there anyone that kind of helped you along the way developing a routine, and what does that routine kind of look like?
I feel like the routine kind of started back from when I was a sophomore in high school, and I really kind of decided to really put in all the time and effort that I really needed to get to where I am. And I feel like that was kind of just transitioned to over here, and it kind of just gotten better because of I'm around more professionals over here. I'm around all professionals over here, in reality. So kind of just everyone that's here, all the older guys that kind of put in your head, hey, like, even if you slack off a little bit, they will get on you. So, it's nice having that around you, because a lot of the time it is what you need. So, a lot of them have helped me like in that aspect. And not that I've ever really needed it in all honesty, because I feel like I've been really good with my routine and being on time a lot of the time. But even when you are, they make sure that so.
Hey,
Chase,
go
ahead.
I believe you were one of the early reports this spring. Is there anything in particular you reported to camp early for, or is that just eager to get to work?
Yeah, really just got here to get to work and really just get after it. We had early camps, and it was me, Marco, my roommate, and Louis Varlin, who really worked heavy together in that camp. So we really got after it together there.
Hey, did you get involved in the miniature golf tournaments at all last season?
I did not.
Okay. Did you get a chance to spend any time with Royce Lewis when he was down there rehabbing?
Not really. Like outside of the complex, but a little bit inside. But for the majority of the part, he was rehabbing a lot. So we were on different sides of the field. So,
Do you have any sort of sense of what the plan is for you to begin this season, whether it'll be extended spring or low A or anything like that?
yeah, I'm not sure. We haven't really been told, so we're really just getting after it and really just trying to get in the best position possible for ourselves right now.
They did have you you started one game and you went 5 innings in your 2 games professionally last year?
Yeah. Yep.
Do you know what the plan is as far as that, as far as length, going early on this year?
Right now the goal is to obviously be a starter. We're on a 6-man starting rotation as of right now, so that's kind of what we're getting after right now. And that's the plan for now at least, and that's the goal going forward, obviously. But whatever it ends up being is happily like with me. I'm here to just kind of do what I need to do for this team and this organization.
You a goal setter? Anything particular you have in mind that you want to accomplish in 22?
Obviously to have the best season possible for myself and kind of just move up the ranks as much as I possibly can. Whether that be finishing the season in low A, high, wherever it be. Just push myself to have the best season I possibly can.
Chase, you and Owen Miller were both, first round picks last year. Is that, giving you guys a bond, or are you guys close, or is that not even a consideration.
Oh no, I mean, yeah, we're for sure pretty close. We're the two of the youngest guys there, so we understand that aspect of what it's like to be the youngest guys there. But for the most part, he hangs around a lot of the position player guys, and I'm around a lot of the pitching guys. So we don't hang out too much, but no, we for sure have that closer bond for sure.
I'm gonna ask one more dumb question, but did you take Spanish in high school, or how's the communication been for you with a lot of the players from the Dominican or Venezuela?
I mean, it hasn't been too bad, honestly. So where I'm originally from, Millville, so we're right next to what's called a city, Vineland, which is very heavily a Latin area. So a lot of my friends growing up spoke a lot of Spanish, so I kind of picked up here and there on that. But yeah, and plus my roommate is fluent Spanish, so he kind of teaches me little things here and there. So it hasn't been too bad, but no, it's for sure when they get going and I'm kind of just sitting there, I can't pick it up. But it's nice. I definitely want to start learning more for sure.
Sure. Hey Matt, I'm Betsy from the Pioneer Press. Nice to meet you. Just wondering how the elbow's feeling, how your off season was everything kind of full go and normal there?
Oh yeah, for sure. So that was kind of the goal. With how my shutdown worked towards the end of last year and stuff like that, was just to make sure that I had as normal of an off season as possible. So I re-injured my elbow in August, and then from then on, we knew that I wasn't going to be back in time to pitch during the season. So just make sure we took it slow and had a nice build up for the season. So what that consisted of was just taking some time off, and then getting an MRI and confirming that nothing was wrong, which nothing surgically was needed. So, and then from that point on, it was just a slow build up, taking some time off and then slowly building up. And then by the time I went back home in mid-November, it was pretty much, I was able to be on my own and have as normal of an off season as possible.
Before Matt, Dan Hayes with The Athletic, before you find out that nothing surgically is wrong there, like you're not going to have the surgery, what's just that period of waiting like? What was it when you hurt your elbow? What was going through your mind at the time, and how relieving was it to get that news, I guess?
Oh, for sure. It was super relieving, but it was like almost, so my injury was just kind of nagging this entire time, and I never really had a feeling that anything was super wrong or anything was wrong just in general. But obviously having an MRI to confirm that diagnosis is obviously it does give you a little bit of relief, and it lets you know, like going into your rehab program, like, yes, I am doing the right things and I'm treating this the right way. So that was the best part about it.
Hey Matt, Joe with MLB.com. Is it tough to get off to such a big start? I mean, to the season, and then to have to be shut down and just kind of be chomping at the bit to get back, but to know that you had such a good start and not being able to build on that immediately.
Oh, I was just happy to get what innings I was able to last year. Obviously, I would have liked to have pitched the entire time, the entire season, and not have any hiccups along the way, but I set forth some goals for myself, like coming into 2021, and even with like the limited mound time that I did have, I felt like I accomplished those goals. Like I improved my changeup, I was filling up the zone, and like I dominated hitters whenever I was on the mound, in my opinion. And so that was like what I wanted to do that entire time. So like I was just super happy with like how I did whenever I was healthy. And so I know that like it's not necessarily gonna, like, I know that I feel completely normal, and I feel completely normal right now, and I feel like just as good as I did then. So I'm hoping I can like kind of parlay that into a good 2022, and hopefully side this year.
Hey Matt, Aaron from The Athletic.
Yeah.
You mentioned the improved changeup, and I know, like, talking to some Twin staffers, I've heard that mentioned too, the strides you made there. Like, who did you work with on that? And then, like, what were the biggest changes, or what were the biggest keys to having a pitch that basically so many people in the organization are saying, like, oh, it's legit much better than it was?
So, so that pitch was the pitch design process occurred after 2019. So after my draft year, after my first taste of Pro Ball, that was a player development goal for me, was to try to get a little bit more depth on my changeup, see if I could make it a better pitch. And then it was kind of on me from that point. Like I was in contact with coaches, but like for like the nitty gritty of like, how am I going to get depth? That was like, how am I going to get extra depth on it? It was kind of like, it was up to me. And the solution that I came to was trying a new grip that was sort of like a modified split changeup grip. So I mean, kind of like a Vulcan, kind of like a Vulcan circle change, like hybrid, but but it was just like one of those things where I put in some work during 2019 and I felt really good about it in spring training of 2020. Then obviously the shutdown happened, but maybe a little bit of some sort of blessing in disguise, because I was able to work on it even more during my off time. I was during the pandemic, I was fortunate enough to have a facility to be able to throw regularly and work on my changeup regularly. And so, and by the time I reported for 2021, it was what I felt to be a really good pitch. And then like the results I saw in limited innings last year were really encouraging. So it's just, and it just feels, it feels like it's in a really good spot and fits within the rest of my repertoire really well as well.
Hey, Matt, it's Megan Ryan from the Star Tribune. I was just interested to know, we were talking to Alex Hassan yesterday, and he was kind of saying that this felt like, you know, the return to the normal spring training because of all the pandemic stuff and whatnot. But then like the one caveat being like the major league guys are kind of in limbo, right? I'm just curious from your standpoint, like what has it been like so far to be down there? And is the lockout thing, like, is that something that's kind of like you guys are thinking about, or you guys are kind of just like, we're here and we're going to do our own thing?
Oh, I'm just extremely happy to be here. It's really cool to get here. I got here January 18th. And so the fact that the Twins are really cool in that they provided this opportunity for their minor league pitchers. I know a lot of organizations have pitchers that haven't reported yet. So I just feel really like blessed to be in like a position to be able to come here and work on some things. This is something that I wanted to do. Like I was hoping that would be offered. So the fact that it was, and I was able to get out here so early and kind of like get rolling for the season was awesome, because I mean it's all systems, it's everything's full go for minor league side, so we're just doing what's within our control and just trying to improve.
Hey Matt, Seth, Twins Daily. You mentioned having set goals previously. Have you written down, do you write your goals down, or do you have them in your head for 2022? And are some of those things you'd be willing to share?
Okay, yeah, for 2022, I would say like my goals have been very much, it's been geared around health, but like I've tried to take like, not just make it about like stay healthy, but like just make sure that I can do things within my control to stay healthy. So like I talk a lot about, I've talked a lot about like this process. It's been a little difficult. Like I've had some setbacks along the way, like times where I thought I was feeling good and then took a step back, especially when I got re-injured last year. So for this year, my approach to it has largely been like, it's more of a reflection, I think, in my head. And it's like, can I look back at everything I'd done and said that I was doing my best job, like in that moment? So like, there's things that happen out of my control, but like, can I ask myself, like, did I give it my best effort in that moment? I feel like I'm working very hard towards these things. I'm communicating a lot with the staff. And I feel like as long as I still do that, then I'm going to be able to give myself the best chance for a healthy 2022.
When you think about the being shut down, Bailey Ober, I think they did that with him 3 times, where they just monitored the workload. If something popped up, they really looked out for him. Are you familiar with what they've done with him in the past? Is there any kind of something you can take from that, I guess, seeing how they were able to do that and, you know, with the success he had at the major league level last year?
I'm definitely familiar with Bailey Ober's route to success, and it's definitely impressive what he's done. You know, he worked hard to overcome some injuries and also improve himself and get better while he was rehabbing from some of those things. So to see him like throw really well this past year was really impressive. And I think a lot of those like benchmarks are kind of like what I'm setting for myself. Like I can't really worry too much about like a shutdown period, like how my workload is going to be managed, but I can do the things that like I think are going to help me stay healthy in the long run. And if I think like an opportunity will come eventually, and I'll just try to run with it whenever that comes.
Yeah, do you like internally think like, hey, it'd be nice to throw X number of innings, 100 innings, whatever it may be? And like, have you guys already started having conversations about what kind of increasing that workload will be like, or is that something for later this spring?
So I've thought about it, but it's not something I really want to think about. It's like one of those things where it's just always in the back of your mind, just because you want to be your own best advocate too. Like you want to I know I personally think like I can contribute whenever my name is called, whatever situation that may be. But it's I'm fortunate to have had some blueprints like set forth in front of me. It's like particularly like in the form of like Bailey Ober or someone like that, where it's like at least it showed that like there's not a strict number on it, but like it's like I know that if I do the right things, that I'll have a chance to contribute in whatever way the Twins ask me to.
Hey, man, it's Dave Campbell with AP. Hey, I was reading about your nickname. I was wondering if that Woody is going to stick, and how many Pez dispensers you have on hand in camp.
Well, so I would say though, Woody was more of a personal nickname between me and my pitching coach in 2019, Virgil Vasquez, and so it was and it's like I've definitely said it. So like I still say howdy. I still say howdy a lot. So people. So if I'm meeting you for the first time, odds are I'll maybe throw that in there at some point. So I don't know if necessarily the nickname Woody will stick, but like the Pez dispensers are here to stay. I still have a Woody Pez dispenser and I have a Buzz Lightyear Pez dispenser, but I have a 5-pound bag of Pez that is unopened and ready to use for the season.
Does that start with the opening of spring training, or does that start with the opening of the regular season?
I'm going to say it starts with whenever I'm in the dugout and watching full games and stuff like that. So we'll see. If I'm ever watching a full game, I bet you those guys will be in my back pockets. I can tell you that much.
You have a 5-pound bag of Pez lying around. How many pounds do you go through?
I'm a pretty routine driven guy. I go through three Pez a game. So like a 5-pound bag will last me probably 100 games or so. So not quite a full season, but I'm pretty forward looking. So I'll do like three little packs of Pez per game, like one for the first 3 innings, one for the second 3 innings, and then one for the last 3 innings. But I mean that can be subject to change too if I feel like we need a rally starter or something like that.
You say routine oriented. How long has that been going?
So the Pez started in 2019, but I would say I'm a routine oriented person, meaning like I take good pride in my routine and like everything that I do. So it's not just like Pez, it's like my warm up routine and stuff like that. All of it kind of has a pretty good structure, and that's just kind of what keeps me based and balanced.
So between the 2020 shutdown and 21, rehab period, you obviously got a lot of time, just a lot of time in there. What do you spend that time doing? If your Twitter bio is any indication, you got a lot of stuff that you like to do in your life.
Yeah, for sure. I would say like so between 2020 and 2021. So like just this past off season, or like during the pandemic too.
Or just like the last 2 years in general. I presume between the 20 shutdown and last year, you had a lot of time.
Yeah, for sure. So I've kind of shifted even from so my Twitter bio says I believe it's pool shark, ping pong, avid ping pong player, and magician. And so I'm pretty good with my card tricks. So I run through those every once in a while. My repertoire isn't like super expansive, but the ones that I do are pretty powerful and convincing. So I love those. And then my to address like the pool and ping pong aspects of that, it's I definitely wasn't able to play as much because my focus in 2020 to 2021 kind of more switched to like doing like stuff like outside. I would say like I went on like a few camping trips during the pandemic, went on a lot of hiking trips, and that was fun. And then it was also geared around my family. So as I'm sure a lot of people were, just because you're around each other 24/7 there for a little bit. So you kind of had to get on each other's good side. And then, but the last thing I'll say that I kind of really enjoy doing is like I play video games. I play League of Legends. That kind of keeps me grounded. And then I like playing board games. I got particularly Catan and stuff like that. So I've gotten a lot of guys around the academy. I introduced that game to a lot of guys around the academy when I was rehabbing this past 2021. And there's usually a game going on there's usually like a game of Catan going on every day now because of it.
Hey, I don't know if you noticed that Betsy and Doe just got super geeked when you mentioned Catan.
No, for sure. No, it's a great game. I'm all aboard. So but it's not just Catan too. I like a lot of board games in general. I play Catan. I've played. It's a little different, but Pandemic, the board game Pandemic, if anyone's heard of that one too, is a really good one. So they're nodding their heads around. They're nodding their heads with that one too. So they know exactly what I'm talking about. But those are the couple that I really get into for sure.
Great game. Pandemic's a little on the nose right now too. But how competitive do those Catan games get at the academy?
Oh yeah, there's it's the toughest part about that game is we have the expansion pack, so it's good for like up to 6 players. So the fact that only one out of six uber competitive people can win every game, there's definitely some expletives being thrown at some point whenever like a dice roll doesn't go their way.
Who is the best Catan player down there?
So best is tough. I think I can be up there. I'm definitely one of the most cutthroat. I can tell you that much. No, I don't like making friends I don't like making friends in Catan. I can tell you that I definitely play the game to win, and I think a lot of other people do that as well. So we're all pretty close and we're all pretty competitive. So I think it's just a good time overall.
You ever play that Frenemies alternative?
I have not. No. So I'm actually not familiar with that. So if you want to explain it in a quick sentence or two, I'd be more than happy to listen.
It's just like another add-on to buy, to spend more money. But it's got a few little extra quirks. Like,
yeah.
Anyway, I can't explain it in a sentence. But
yeah, no, that's all good. No, I've so back home I have like 4 different expansion packs for Catan as well. So like I said, I'm very into it, and I can teach everybody all the expansions too. So it's I don't know, it's just what I enjoyed. And especially like when you're trap's a bad word. Whenever you're spending a lot of time around the same people, like you're looking for something to do. So it ended up being a pretty good one that caught on.
Hey, Matt, I know you struck out Kyler Murray in high school, but did you just play football against each other, and can you throw as good as Spyro?
Oh, he's got me beat everything football-wise. I can tell you that much. I played 1 year of football in 8th grade, and I was the B team linebacker for my middle school. So I never had the glory of facing him in middle school. I can tell you that much. And if I saw him anywhere on the football field, he would make me look silly. So I'll take my victory over him where I can get it. And that's very purely just on the baseball field.
Hey, Matt, we were just talking to Chase Petty, and I don't know how much you got a chance to get to know him last summer or this spring or whatever, but as you look at what he's got right now and compare it to where you were coming out of high school on your way to Rice, how does it compare? Does it compare? And what kind of advice would you give to him at this point?
So the stuff's electric. Obviously, it's really cool to watch. It's really cool to watch, and it's just like I'm 24 now. He's, what is he, 19 still? It's just incredible. Like I can tell you that I was nowhere near the stuff that he has, and it's really impressive. And I guess if I had to say like one thing is just like, and it's once again, I'm 24, he's 19. I know that if I look back at the pitcher I was at 19 to where I am now, not just like how I've developed, but like what I throw now and like my mentality and stuff on the mound, it's two completely different people. And that even goes, it's not even just from 5 years ago to now, it's from like 2 years ago, 3 years ago to now. So I think it's just, I think like most of the stuff that I would tell him would just be regards of like, just be open to new things. Keep work, like listening to listen to what everybody has to say, not necessarily like do everything that everybody tells you to do, but like be open about that stuff, and it'll be really cool to see how you evolve as a pitcher and as a person.
Hey, Matt, 2 questions.
Yeah.
Topics. One, how often are you doing magic tricks for guys around there? And 2, back to the Pez, is there like a specific flavor or like all different kinds of flavors or?
All right. So for magic tricks, I've put it on the back burner probably this past year, but there was a point at which like it's more as if whether or not I have a deck of cards on me at any point. Like, and if somebody asks nicely, I'll try to do a little bit of a show, but like I'm pretty good, but I do have to practice every once in a while, or else the sleight of hand kind of comes and goes. But I'll try to put on a little bit of a show whenever I have a deck of cards in hand. And then as for the Pez, it's I have 6 flavors in my bag that I know there's more than 6 flavors, but I have the 6 original flavors, and I have a tier ranking of all 6 of them, like my favorite flavors. And so it's number 1 is lemon, number 2 is grape, number 3 is orange, number 4 is cherry, number 5 is strawberry, and number 6 is, I'm forgetting one. It's my 6th favorite, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, Matt, to wrap this around to baseball, lest we let this interview go by.
Oh, it's raspberry. I figured it out. I'm sorry.
How good did it feel to throw live again?
I had butterflies in the stomach, so I guess it's good that I still care about it, right? It was super fun to be out there again. I mean, even if it is just throwing 16 simulated pitches to guys, and so, but it was a lot of fun. I definitely had to settle myself down after a little bit, go back to like I kind of got outside of like my pitching routine and stuff, so I got outside of myself for a second, but once I settled back in, it felt really good, really normal, and it felt comfortable, and that was awesome. So it's just hope I can keep on doing it week after week now, right?
How long had it been, and how many Pez did you go through?
What was that? Sorry, you got to repeat that one more time.
How long had it been since the last time you threw live, and how many Pez did you go through?
Oh, the last time I threw live was 6 months ago in August, whenever I got injured, whenever I re-injured my elbow. So I had like a start in Peoria in August, and that was my last time that I faced hitters. And so, and the Pez are usually exclusively for games. So I was in the dugout for like a month or so after my injury, and there was Pez every game then, but now it's just, so I finished my bag, and I just recently got my new bag for the season.
Edouard, I'm Doe with MLB.com. It's good to meet you. Thanks for doing this.
Thank you. Nice to meet you. Hey, everyone.
Hey, just to start, what does your off season look like, and how good is it to get back to camp and start building back up?
It's good to be back. I was in Canada, back home in Quebec City. It was pretty cold, the snow, like everyone knows. It was hard to be outside and play baseball. So I'm lucky enough to have a facility back home where we have a dome over a baseball field, and that's where I was the whole off season. I played there, took ground balls, hit, and work out there.
Hey, I'm Betsy with the Pioneer Press. I was just wondering if you could take us through kind of 2019, 2020, what kind of 2 years of not playing was like for you, and then kind of how eager you were to get back out there last year and how that went.
Yeah, so in 2019, I had surgery on my right arm. I had Tommy John surgery, and I was pretty lucky enough to have that COVID year, so I could rehab and take my time and get back healthy. And I think that was a pretty good fit for me to have that COVID year. And I came back in 2020. I was lucky enough to start in low A and just play baseball again. And it was pretty fun. It was a fun year for me. Just had fun, enjoy every moment of it.
How many languages did I hear you speak? 4 languages, or how many languages is it?
No, I speak English, French, and I used to go to a high school where it was Spanish. And since I came here with all those Latin players, I picked it up pretty quick. And I can say I understand a lot of Spanish and I speak a lot. And I'm not trilingual, but I'm close to it.
Many other French speakers you got around you in this organization?
We used to have a couple, Lennon Leach, and now we have Martin. He's I think a video guy. He speaks French too. So, but there's not a lot of French baseball player around.
Eddie, when we this is Seth from Twins Daily. When we talked last, probably May, you were in Fort Myers and you had a 500 on base percentage, and you were stealing bases. But then when you moved up to Cedar Rapids, you continued to do all that, but you also added the power component. So, I mean, talk a little bit about, your well-rounded game, or what were the things that you worked on to try to improve over this offseason?
I'd say over this offseason, I worked a lot on my defense because I think that's one of my weaknesses here. I try to be a little more consistent defensively, and I try to add on everything. I try to have more power, have more contact, and be faster. I try to be a little bit of everything, but I'd say I worked mainly on my defense and my arm.
Hello, I'm Aaron from The Athletic. You mentioned defense. I know even in college you moved around quite a bit, and then obviously last year you played a bunch of spots. Like, what do you feel is your best or second best spot? Like, what would you say is like your natural position at this point?
I'd say my natural position is second base, and I'm starting to learn left field, so I think I'm more of a second base and left field, and I can play some first and third, and I can play a little bit of everywhere, but I'd say my more natural, I'd say second and left field.
So how much opportunity is there in baseball for a kid growing up in Quebec?
It's hard because, in Canada, the biggest sport is hockey, and then in the summer it's soccer now. So there's not a lot of baseball player, and there's not a lot of people that come back home to watch us play. And we only play 2 months a year, so it's pretty hard to get some visibility. But now Canada's done a great job to make a program where they take all the best players from the country, and they do like a junior team, and they play everywhere in the United States. They play against minor league teams, they play against college. So the best player back home, they just get recruited when you're on that team, and they get the chance to play against in front of eyes, in front of college coach, in front of scouts. So it's getting bigger, it's getting better, and I think Canada's growing as a baseball country too.
You have other sports too? And if so, when did you decide to focus on baseball?
When I was younger, I used to ski a lot. I did some race skiing, slalom and stuff. I played hockey with my friends, and I did a bunch of other sport. But I'd say at 15 years old, that's when I started just doing baseball and concentrating on it and putting all my effort towards that sport. Yeah.
What was the level jump like just going to the SEC from a place where you only get to play a couple months a year?
Like I said, I played on the junior national team. I was lucky enough to play 2 years on that team, and we play every month. We leave for 7 days, 10 days, and we play against minor league team, and we play against college. So I saw a little bit of pitching and some velocity, but I'd say the biggest step for me when I got to college is the guys are so much polished, and they throw off speed. They throw a lot of off speed in the zone. They have plan against you. It's not just to go out there and play. They play to win, and they try to get you out. So I think that was the biggest adjustment I had to make, and to make adjustment against the pitcher, to read what they're trying to do with me. And I think that was the biggest adjustment I had to make from moving from Canada.
Eddie, you led all of minor league baseball last year in walks. Sabato, I think, was number 2, but you led that category by like a couple dozen or something. Is that part of your approach, is just swinging at strikes? And how did the electronic strike zone in the Florida State League or whatever it's called, how did you adjust to the electronic strike zone?
It's always been part of my game to have a good eye and to swing at good pitches and not chase out of the strike zone. But I'd say this year I took it to another step. I was more focused on what I wanted. My approach was more defined. I knew what I wanted to hit, what I didn't want to hit. Like my strength, I knew my strength a little bit more. And in the Florida State League with that strike zone, it was the first time really playing with a strike zone that's consistent like that. With the umpire, sometimes they give calls to the pitcher or they give calls to you. So it's different. And with the automatic strike zone, you get the same thing every day. So I kind of liked it for me. But yeah, so the strike zone, I kind of liked it, yeah.
Hi, Eddie. This is Megan Ryan from the Minneapolis Star Tribune. I'm just kind of curious. I know that it's not technically affecting you guys, but with the lockout happening, with the major league players, like, is that something that you guys as minor league guys like talk about, or do you kind of stay up on the news and see what's going on, or do you kind of not pay attention to it?
We don't really talk about it because we play in the minor league still, and we just come here to do our stuff and we work out here, and we just do our thing, and we don't really pay attention to that stuff. But for sure, we see in the media, and we hope they solve it, but we don't really pay attention to that stuff.
Going back to the high walk total, on base percentage, and all that, do you ever worry, or has anybody ever talked to you about kind of having to balance not being passive but being patient versus becoming aggressive? Especially, I think you talked a little bit earlier about wanting to add more power, which you did in the second half. How do you kind of balance that of only swinging at strikes, but you don't want to become too focused on it?
Yeah, so sometimes I was getting caught up during the season to be too patient and to let good pitches go. I think that's one of the adjustment I'm trying to make this year, to be more aggressive early in counts, and when I get my pitch to go for it. And whenever you go up the level, the pitching gets better, and the mistake, they don't do as much mistake, and I'm aware of that. And so I'm going to be a little bit more aggressive, but I'm going to stick to my approach and swing at strikes, and I'm going to I'll be for sure more aggressive, but I'll stick to my approach for sure.
Yeah, when you entered this organization, how much did it help to have a couple guys like Balazovic or Landon Leach, like you mentioned, that you played on national teams with before, and to just kind of have that familiarity here waiting for you?
Oh yeah, it was a good thing for me to have that too, because I didn't know anything about minor league. I didn't know anything about pro ball, and I didn't know what to expect. And as soon as I got there, I was lucky enough to be with Leach, to be with Laurent Smith, to be with other Canadian and Jordan Balazovic. And I talked with him a lot. So it made it for me easier. And I had people to go to and talk to and ask questions. And they were very good with me. So I was pretty lucky to have them.
And just for you personally, moving from Quebec to rural Alabama to coming into pro ball now, how big of just like a personal lifestyle adjustment and how much learning has there been through that time?
It's been a pretty big adjustment. I'd say the biggest one was to move from Quebec to Alabama, to that different language, because back home we don't speak English. So I got to Alabama, I couldn't speak English, only French. So it was pretty hard at first in my classes, and the food's different. How people act is different. So I got to acclimate to everyone, and it was a big change. And to go pro ball too was a different world too. I mean, everybody's trying to make it to the highest level, and it's fun to be around here and to be part of that.
What helped you acclimate to like the language or just to the cultural changes? Is there anything that helped you in particular when you were at Auburn?
What helped me, I'd say my teammates. I mean, I learned my English from them, and I go to them every day. So we had roommates. I was with them all the time. We were my baseball teammates all the time. So we do everything together. So yeah, they taught me everything, like what to eat, what to not eat in Alabama, and the food was different. I had to commit to that because back home we eat very different, and like how you talk to, because I use what my friends were saying to me. So it's not always the best word to say around coaches. So I had to learn a lot I learned a lot in Alabama.
You old enough to remember when the Expos were in Montreal at all?
I remember, but I was too young to. to remember when they were in Montreal. But I heard a lot of stories about them.
Yeah, outside of the actual baseball practices, how have you enjoyed the life? Is there a lot going on after practices around the facilities, or is it pretty quiet?
Oh yeah, I think at the academy we're fortunate to have a downstairs at a place where everybody goes, where we have pool tables, ping pong tables, and everybody hangs out together. Even if the Latin and the American, everybody hangs out together. And especially for me, I try to have a relation with everyone. And since I speak Spanish, I try to be close to the Latin players and try to talk to everyone and to be friendly with everyone. But yeah, there's good friendship around baseball too. After you're off the field and on the field, it's all your teammates at the end of the day, and you get a good relationship with them.
I know there's a college game going on at the stadium right now. Does that take you back a little bit? Is there anything about the game or that lifestyle that you miss?
Yeah, I miss it a lot actually. Just to play it's more of a team game. I feel like everybody wanted to win bad, and everybody was pulling for each other. And every time you step on that field was to win. It wasn't to develop as much as the minor league. So I miss that a lot about college, and to be around guys that you're with them 24/7, and you live with them, and you do everything with them. So I kind of miss that aspect of college.
LaMaquinaDeportiva.com.
Yo soy Pedro Beato, te invito a la máquina deportiva.
Leo Núñez, te invito en la máquina deportiva.
Mi gente, le habla Michael Martino y le invito a ver máquina deportiva.
Saludos mi gente, aquí directamente Guatatá con la guagua urbana, una vaina gustativa con la gente bacana, LaMaquinaDeportiva.com, para que te ponga cloro, para que chequeas a mi sosa y la receta de la crema, una vaina gustativa, La Máquina Deportiva, ya tú sabes, ponte al día. Yeah.
Hola, soy José Vera, les exhorto a que continúen con La Máquina Deportiva.
Bueno, hola, es Andrés Blanco, le invito a que disfruten La Máquina Deportiva.
Yo soy Manuel Acosta, de los New York Mets. Saludos a La Máquina Deportiva.
Hola, yo soy Iván Nova y un saludo para La Máquina Deportiva.
Hola amigos, yo soy Francisco Cervelli, receptor de los Yankees de Nueva York y los invito a La Máquina Deportiva.
Mi nombre es Nerio Rosario, un saludo a Máquina Deportiva.
Hola, mi nombre es Anel Rodríguez y un saludo a Máquina Deportiva.
Bueno amigos, mi nombre es Rafael Pérez, lanzador de los 100 de Cleveland. Invito a que ustedes vean a Máquina Deportiva.
Hello, hola, soy Carlos Santana y le invito a que vean La Máquina Deportiva. Dale.
Hola, soy Orlando Cabrera y quiero que sigan con La Máquina Deportiva.
Hola, yo soy Bruno y le invito a que sigan con La Máquina Deportiva.
No se puede conducir. Nelson con el balón le dice a ustedes que sigan en sintonía.
Hola mis amigos, soy Analisis y quiero invitarte a que sigan en sintonía con La Máquina Deportiva.
¿Qué tal mis amigos? Les habla Tony Bravo. Quisiera saludarles a toda la gente que sigue La Máquina Deportiva. Oniel, tú sabes que te quiero muchísimo, me da mucho gusto que nos acompañes hoy día, donde estoy todos los miércoles acá en Tabaco y Rojo. De corazón agradecido. Un saludo a toda la gente que sigue en La Máquina Deportiva, en el cual me siento orgulloso de ser amigo, muy pero muy amigo y hermano de mi hermano Oniel. Te quiere siempre, Tony Bravo. Ah, pues esto es un palo.
Hola, soy Manny Acta, manager de los Indios de Cleveland, y te invito a La Máquina Deportiva.
Un saludo desde mi corazoncito lindo a toda la gente que ve y escucha La Máquina Deportiva. Me gusta el béisbol, esto tiene su sabor latino, sabor a béisbol, que lo cante mi gente en la esquina caliente. Un beso, gracias por apoyar este programa. Bye.